Appreciate everybody being here today. Certainly happy, with the results and the win. You can talk about a lot of different scenarios throughout the game. Coming back from 14 points 3 different times in the game. You can talk about, Jared Neal competing, giving us a chance, and guys making plays. I mean, that was outstanding. You can talk about, the effort of Trent Garland and how tough he ran in some short yardage situations, and just really, impressed and excited about that. But then you have to be realistic and go back and look and say, how did we get ourselves in that situation? We were certainly, very flat as we came out and, dug ourselves a hole that we had to get out of. Obviously, give Murray credit. They came out ready to play. They won the special teams battle. That's the first game this year I felt like that we did not win the special teams part of the game. Obviously, they've turned a kickoff, and we missed kick a punt, and they played faster on special teams than we did. And that was the difference why you were having to battle back from 3 different 14-point deficits. But with all that being said and done, as this team has done four games in a row in the conference, 9 of their last 10 games, this team has won conference games. Over a 2-year period. You got to give these kids credit. I mean, they fight, they find a way. They believe in each other. They may get after each other when they get disappointed because they expect to win, but they're able to, like brothers, kind of to overcome it and line back up and get a new series there and line up and play. And I do want to apologize to my players and to the fans that were there. Okay. From the standpoint of that I've got to figure out a way to provide them a better game day atmosphere. It was just unfortunate circumstances that that our band had to be out of town. So and they provided such great energy and they do a great job for them. And they couldn't be there and then the rain kept a lot of people at home, but the fans that were there, man, I do appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart for this program, for those kids. And like I said, I apologize that I couldn't provide you a better game day atmosphere. We're playing our rival Murray State, okay, who's right down the road, and so to be able to win 9 out of 10 in that series, that's something I was proud of. I was told when I took this job 10 years ago, that's our rival game. That's one we want to makes all of our alumni, family, and friends proud of us, and we've done a good job up to this point on that. But I was very impressed with Coach Stewart and his team. I thought there was a lot of fight in their team. I thought they played over this 10 years. I thought that team played as hard against us than any team we've lined up against. I thought they were physical as well, and they did a lot of good things in the game that gave themselves a chance to win. All right.
You've had a lot of these FBS games kind of in the middle to late part of the season. This is nothing new. What's kind of the key to sort of handling the transition from conference play to this one-off game as best as you can?
Yeah. I haven't won any of them this late in the season, so I don't know if I've certainly got the answer. It is difficult. From the standpoint of you got 3 big conference games coming up here in a week, and you're lining up this week, and you're going to play an SEC team. Now our kids are excited about it. I mean, they will be. It's a long trip for us. It's on SEC Network, so there's a lot of positives that come out of it. Once again, this senior class. I thank them so much for many things. One, Alex? One went away from they're tied right now with over a 4-year period, the most wins in UTM history of, 70 years of college football. All right. But in an 11-game season, this team's having to go play 2 FBS games. And we did this so we could get the stadium to go forward. Okay. So I just really appreciate this team of not complaining, lining up and playing. And helping this program in so many ways for not just over this 4-year period, but for the next 30 years of this program as we get this press box ready to go for next year. But to answer your question from a transition standpoint, no, we'll practice today. We'll put a game plan in. You understand the personnel issues that you have going into it. And we want to play a lot better than we did the opening game against an SEC opponent. Obviously, we didn't play very well against Ole Miss, and they had a lot to do with that. But we had a lot to do with that as well. So, it is what it is from that standpoint. But our guys line up and play. Now, the injury list that the trainer just gave me a few minutes ago is probably double what it's been. I saw the Devin Fair on there, saw Trent Garland on there, Tay Martin on there, two backup linebackers on there. I mean, Bart's been kind of working overtime, so no different probably than anybody else, but we certainly there's more this week than there's been up to this point. That'll at least be out this week, not necessarily. Maybe we'll get them back in a week or so.
So all those guys you mentioned with Evan, Trent included, probably out.
They're questionable right now, but you won't have Tay Martin. Doesn't look like we'll have Garrett Wall, James Cotton. And that just starts affecting your depth on defense and your secondary. I mean, in your special teams depth as well. Got some guys got to go get whether it be strep tests or mono tests. So we'll wait and see how that comes back. So I don't usually when I do a list, you're looking at about 70 and on the travel list, and then you work it down from there. Okay, when I put the healthy bodies that were ready to go, I mean, I think there was like 56 guys that normally travel, and then there was 10 other ones that always travel that won't be going this week. And so now you're deciding, okay, who's 5 or 6 other healthy bodies that normally don't travel, that this will be their first game they get to travel to this week, and certainly a big time opponent.
Still have a lot to play for as far as the rest of the season goes in the FCS. Now you go play this Arkansas team that's physical and big up front. Is there any concern of you trying to come out of this game healthy just so you can finish those 3 games with all the momentum you currently have?
I mean, to answer all those questions is yes. No, but you can't. But you got to go play. You got 4 quarters to play. These are lifelong memories for these kids. You can't hold back anything. You can't be cautious. You can't be. That's not fair to the players. That's not fair to the university. This is one of your 11 games, and you fight your way through it, and you get your game plan that gives you a chance to be successful. And then just like any game, then where are you in the fourth quarter? Things of that nature, as you may think of, of the next week, what you got in the long trip to Eastern Kentucky to stay in the conference race.
What did you guys learn about yourselves from the Mississippi game to this week?
Right. Obviously, you have success, your confidence starts growing. I mean, it certainly does. I think, our quarterback's playing really well. I think our offensive line's playing well. We've got some receivers now that are making plays in the past, 5 weeks that nobody really knew about going into this year. I think we've learned that. We went 3 games in a row holding opponents under 17 points. So that was, that's encouraging, exciting. I think there's some guys that they're newcomers that have stepped up. That's something that we've learned, and then we've seen some players play consistent all year. So you certainly did I think we'd be at this point? Yeah. I mean, this is what I kind of figured we'd be at this point. If you told me to write down on a sheet of paper where we would be, obviously, you knew we were going to have to play really well against Jacksonville State. And we didn't do it, even though we made a game out of it. And you knew this last 3 weeks of the season, the conference games would be where it would, you start setting yourself apart.
Last year, the 2 FBS games, first one didn't go as well, the second one much better. Is that relevant at all to this year, do you think? I mean, is there some
Yeah.
encouragement there?
Now that you mention it, hopefully so. I hadn't really thought of it like that. I guess 4 SEC schools in 2 years. I mean, that's that's a lot for our kids, but certainly exciting in the building. Our guys are excited about it. So you just get a game plan and you go and play. That's all you do. Just like Eastern Kentucky lined up against the University of Kentucky and played and had a chance to win it in the fourth quarter. I mean, our kids see that. They know what else is out there. So that's what you do.
Defense gave up some big plays
Yeah.
against Murray State on Saturday. How much is that going to be a big focus for your team this week?
Yeah, it always is. Kind of knew going to that game that was going to be our Achilles heel from the standpoint to where if we can limit those big plays, we would have a chance to move the football against them, and we didn't do it. We didn't do it early. Just 2 totally busted coverages. And give them credit. They schemed us up good, and we didn't play it well, and guys are wide open. and that's a concern. I mean, I think there was 3 plays that equaled up to about 150, 160 yards. And that can't happen. That can't happen against good teams. We're going to face defenses when we get to finish up this conference season to where, you can't expect us to have 600 something yards a game. That usually doesn't happen. So, we'll make some corrections and. But there was a during that second quarter and third quarter, I thought our defense, we held them under 400 yards except for the last fourth quarter there where we gave up the long pass where we got to tip that ball away that they catch, and then they had the long run. We were playing prevent there. That's about 100 yards, which gets you below 400 yards, and you do that to their defense, you've had a pretty good day. And then you give up the special teams, the kickoff return. So, was there some bright spots on defense? Yes, there was. All those yards wasn't on them. And you gave them Murray 2 short fields that first drive, right? And we held them to a field goal. They had the bad punt and then the interception. So we're lucky it was only 10-0 and not 14-0.
How aware are your guys of what this team still has to play for going forward with the 3 conference games left, and knowing that you still have a shot at the playoffs and potentially a long shot at the conference championship?
Yeah, I mean tremendously, because we know that the teams ahead of us have all still got to play each other. I guess we're the only one that's played Jacksonville up to this point. So, things will be more clear, Sunday morning after guys play each other. Then they'll be more clear, the next week. Things I am concerned about are the 2 long road trips back to back. I mean, there's no jet for us to get on and fly to Fayetteville. We'll be in a bus on Friday, and then we'll be in a bus next Friday making the drive to Richmond. So, now EKU's got to play Jacksonville State this week, and they'll be in return as well. So, so our guys know you got 20 seniors, and they've been in these conference races for most of their career. That's why they've won so many games. They know what's out there in front of them.
Talk about how big Arkansas is up front, especially the offensive line. They like to brag that they're bigger than any other NFL front line. How does your defense try to get any kind of penetration on that at all and preventing the run that they love to do?
Yeah, I don't. You certainly can't just sit there. You can't just sit there and let them get their hands on you. They're extremely huge, people and good players. And I really like their style of offensive. The way they use their tight ends and they get downhill and their play action passes and on defense, they limit you to hold you under 20 points and so very impressed. They've got a great program and. They've created a really neat culture there with their physicality and that big offensive line and the backs that get downhill and using the tight ends. They've got their own niche, and it's very unique. It used to be this is the way everybody played. Now they're one of the few teams left. I guess them and LSU that play this style. I guess still in the SEC.
Is it encouraging a little bit that teams that throw the ball a little bit more have given Arkansas a little bit of fits this year? I mean, I know necessarily aren't.
Yeah,
Tech,
right. You're just trying to find ways to get first downs, like and get it in the red zone, and it's discouraging that they'll play 5 and 6 people in the box and they still stop people from running the football. I mean they do. You look at A&M, you look at the other teams they play. There's not a whole lot of rushing yards that people are putting up against them, and that's with limited 5 and 6 guys in the box. So. We certainly got to work cut out for us. They got good schemes, great coaches. So, it's an honor to have a chance to go and line up against a caliber team like this.
Besides, there's all I know you've always talked about these games and want to have a shot going in that fourth quarter. But besides that, just as far as getting yourself ready for that rest of the conference race, what do you want to see out of this week?
There's some improvements, obviously, that we need to make. Football, like any games, a lot of it has to do with momentum and feeling good about yourself and confidence and and playing well. Certainly, there's a lot of carryover from that. Even like you alluded to earlier, how we competed in the Mississippi State game, and that helped us get to 5, win those 5 games in a row, or beat Eastern Illinois last year, to get to that 5th win in the conference. Sure, I think that it can't define who you are, right? But because each game has its own history and you start over again the next week. But No, you want to put a team out there on the field that competes and gives itself a chance to win every week, and the kids buy into that, and then you go into the next week, and as you continue to build, even though it's week 9, 10, 9, 10, and 11.
Excuse me, if you mentioned earlier, but Caleb Weathers, what's his?
He had some respiratory problems during the game with some asthma attacks, and once again, that the injuries that we've got at receiver, they caught up to us during that game. But another guy stepped up. I'm so proud of those guys. We've been playing 3 receivers, and then I look up and Kalen's not in the game on Saturday, and Rodarius Houston's in the game. And he hasn't played in several weeks, and he made some big catches. And then Brett Thompson converted quarterbacks in the game, and he made some big third down conversions for us. So that was I was excited about that. I thought Coach Rascotti's done a great job, those wide receivers, dealing through those injuries, and got some other players to produce that hadn't been in games yet. So but Kalen should be back. Hopefully he'll be fine.
He didn't actually have an injury.
No. It was he had a tough time breathing, and when that hits him, he has to shut it down. Good.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey guys, appreciate y'all.